Hey guys, I was contacted by a person from the Northwest who claimed that he had found the area where Forrest Fenn treasure was located. Now, I searched for Forrest Fenn's treasure a little bit, but not very much. I didn't spend any really time. I was with a friend of mine who was searching, and I'd heard that Forrest Fenn's treasure had already been found, and I thought this was an open and shut case. It was done and closed. So when this guy's telling me this, I do some research and find out there is a lot of mysterious things going on and a lot of things that aren't adding up to where and when this thing was even found. And I started doing some research, and this person showed me some YouTube videos that leaves a lot of questions to be desired. And so he agreed or said he would come to me and tell me and show me without a question of a doubt that he does know where this place was found. And not only that, he met the people who found it, and I say people, and we'll go into that later. And with that said, I'm going to ask him a few questions. He doesn't want to really come forward just yet or anything, but what he showed me makes a lot of sense, and what he showed me seems to fit. And so I got a couple questions for you. One, tell me exactly what is going on in the internet world with the find of Forrest Fenn's treasure, because I thought it was an open and shut case, and now I'm finding out there's a lot of questions, a lot of things that are going on that just ain't adding up and making this whole thing not smell right.
Well, first of all, I personally do not keep my pulse on it, but I have someone that does, and that person has showed me things that are disgusting. It's turned into a circus. Lawsuits, people that have never even been to the proper state it's whacked out. And this was not easy. It really is about what Forrest did, and the world will never understand, and of course, unless I unveil it, and that's one of the motivations. All the clues, all the hints, the aberrations, all the ends, all 3 books, all interviews, we're all unequivocally speaking of one precise area, just like Forrest said, on the map, on a map. I mean, the poem is a map that runs the precise location of the chest, if run precisely. And I did that. The thing is in my final season, I ran into 2 dudes that clearly were like ducks out of water. They did not belong there. I'd never seen them before. I had the search area pinned down for 3 years. Finding the 10 by 10 by 5 inch box was not easy. Figuring out the poem precisely was not easy. But these people were entrenched. They didn't belong there. I've never seen them before, and took down their license plate. This was late September, early October. At the time, I just thought somehow someone leapfrogged ahead of me. I thought, I was kind of like, where these guys come from? I've never even seen them before. And they were entrenched with a camp, and they were like someone told them it was there. But at the time, I just thought, man, I'm getting beat. And I thought, well, there's no way they'll get it. I've been here for years. It's not that easy.
And so you was telling me originally that they said this was found in June. And what was your thoughts about that?
Can't get to the chest in June. That was a lie. I might be able to. I might be able to get there, but they wouldn't. I'll just say that.
And that was in the year 2020?
The final year of the chest was 2020, yes. Yep.
So it comes out, they found it in June, and then later on we find out that that's a lie. Then they changed their tune and says it was found in August?
Well, I'm a former chess champion, and I started playing chess because I knew something was afoot. I never imagined that Forrest Fenn would pull the chest. I never imagined that it just never even entered my mind. I really thought I was getting beat fair and square. And I talked to these guys, and I took the liberty to document. Let's back up. So, this is going into winter. Snow's going to fly in the mountains here. I just thought, man, let's just let this be. I've had enough for the year. I'll come back and go get it. I had walked by the chest, unfortunately, in my second season, which is a painful thing to admit, but it's not like it's like you walk right by it like that, but I went by it. It's very tough to find. So I just figured these guys will never, ever be able to get it. But they were entrenched like they knew something. So I later heard the announcement the following year, I was up in those mountains, and I came out because there's no way to get to it. It's too early.
You tried to go in and retrieve it, but there was no way you could get to it.
There's no way I could get to it.
Because of the weather condition, because of...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's altitude involved. And so that's when I heard the announcement had been found. I realized, those guys found it. I knew they found it last summer, basically, late September, early October. I knew that they must have got it. I already knew who they were. So I took the instant liberty to, through email, which is documented and timestamped, obviously, Google, tell people that the solver will be from Pennsylvania.
Because that's on the license plate.
Yeah, and I said...
You've seen the people that you got there.
And I said
so you timestamped that, you documented that, and then...
More than once.
A lot of months later...
Many months later...
It came out that they were from Pennsylvania.
It came out that he...
And I'm saying they...
Now, there's only one person, but I know them as two. And matter of fact, I had it backwards, because the guy that came running out first ended up being the guy with the book deal. And the guy that stood behind him and beat up the guy that supposedly gets credit for finding the chest. So I thought I got beat fair and square. You know, I had to deal with that. It wasn't fun. But all of a sudden, the whole world's unrest, and the people that keep touch of this are reporting back to me, this is getting wild. Two of the top searchers have emails saying Forrest said he's going to pull it. I had already documented, by the way, in email that the finder will be from Pennsylvania. So I'm not psychic. I don't have a crystal ball. I said, or at least their license plate was, because maybe it was a rent-a-car. Well, the guy was from Pennsylvania, so there's that. And they claim not to know each other or ever meet or anything like that. Yet in interviews, the guy's squirrely and says, well, I've never met Jack, but if I did, I'd say, remember that crazy thing we did? Well, he's not a good liar. He blew it right there.
Yet you met him in person there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Listen, here's the whole upshot. They know about me. I've emailed and contacted them. I would have played along probably to keep the place secret. I feel that way. But instead of... they've made me an adversary as opposed to befriending me and having, let's be on the same team. And I think it's just time to expose them. Many people, suspiciously enough, I know everything. I know the air, I know everything. I met these guys, talked to them. The world was already suspicious in uncovering these things and let me know like I was right in thinking this is wrong. Who are these guys? How are they here? But I still believe, they just beat me somehow. I've never seen them before. And so now I know that obviously they were sent to get it. I don't think it's a coincidence. They're both writers. They're both writers of a guild. That Forrest Fenn's best friend's a part of. So there's a lot of things there that, and these are things I've been told, so I don't know if I'm correctly rewording them because I really don't care. The bottom line is they know about me and they have gone to great lengths to cover me up, which is wrong. I earned it. I wasn't told where it was. I think Forrest made them work for it. Took them 25 days. And that's Forrest relieving his conscience after everything he went through. He just can't say, here's the place I was going to die, here's the grand mystery. He told them where to drive and park and it'll be there. Still took them 25 days. And they had that confidence. So
you're saying, that Forrest told people, sent out email to some people that he was going to pull it because the family didn't want to be burdened by this anymore. And now you're speculating. You don't know for a fact, but you're speculating that Forrest talked to a friend of his. They had these guys go in and find it. Is that what you're telling me? Well, this is your speculation. It's not an absolute fact. It's what you kind of deducted out of this. Or? No, that's incorrect. I've never even followed any of this. I have people that do that. So these are the things you're seeing on the internet. This is what people have brought to my attention. It is definitely unequivocal that Forrest pulled it. I think it's logic to say that Forrest Fenn, getting old, said, hey, reached out to his good buddy Doug Preston and said, I need some help. We got to pull this thing. He found a couple of stooges.
They're writers. He's the president of their guild. That's the people that found it. This is a known fact. This is brought to me, so I'm not making this up. And if I'm wrong, then, I mean, someone else is wrong. So this is information out there. These are the two guys I met, by the way. I identified both of them. I just had it backwards. The guy that has the book deal is the guy that, you know, I assume was the lead dog because he came charging out first. But, so...
And you didn't know he had the book deal, or you didn't even know him. You just met him.
No, he's the guy, I'm just saying at the time, he's the guy that ended up later coming out as the guy at the book deal. And we were looking for him to be the guy that found the treasure. Because in my mind, I thought he was the lead guy. So the bottom line is that, you know, it's Forrest's treasure to do what he wants. And if he wanted to call it, and because the family clearly had meetings, there's another channel that says they were part of a meeting where the family said, no, we're not being left with this nightmare. And that same family went trolling other videos saying that never happened. So, I mean, you know, I saw these things myself. They were put in front of my soul. It just makes me understand what I witnessed and went through. And am I bitter? Not really. It's devastating for me. I wished I could have just beat them. Forrest alluded to me a couple of times. I FedExed him. And after I did that, he said, I think the chest's going to be found sooner than I thought, something like that. And he's given me a few props here and there. I think he did his best. I'm not going to go into what those are because that might reveal who I am. But I know what Forrest Fenn did. It is a fascinating thing he did. I don't want to get too deep in it, but once you unravel all the books, all the stories, pictures, things he said at the books, things, all are indigenous to one specific place on the earth. And in my opinion, it should have been a Disneyland parking lot, because there's a few things that they're unequivocal to this place. And then once you, I mean, it can only be one place. Were there other people there? Yes, there were. They would come and go. And I guess they didn't have the fortitude they didn't know what they're doing. I knew it was there. I knew I was inside the poem. Running it precisely was extremely difficult. I eventually figured it out, of course, only to stumble into these guys. I guess I should have stayed there and gave them some competition, but I know that area better than probably Forrest did at this point, or just as good. Probably more so. I did things that were insane. So I felt these guys don't have a chance and they'll just booger off. And they came out admitting to the 25 days. And they both admit a 25-day search thing, even though they claim to not know each other. So they're just not very good at keeping their story straight. But I gave them the chance to reach out to me. And they chose to try to hide me, cover me up, and keep me from ever being exposed. And that's wrong.
So the bottom line is, you know, it was found, it was pulled, but we're not getting the truth of where it was found, because what they're saying and where it was found isn't where it was found.
Well, to their credit, I mean, listen, I'm not excited to tell the world either where it was, but I would at this point through the right platform. I think the best platform is through some kind of media type thing to show people what Forrest said, the person, you're never going to stumble on that chest. You're going to have to earn it. I would say that's an understatement, but an accurate one nonetheless. It was an accurate statement, but in that country, it's an understatement. And most of the people have never even been to the right place. I mean, some people are even still in the wrong states, and the states encoded in the poem. So the poem is indeed a map. Once you know it, it's kind of like knowing a magic trick. It's kind of like, oh, I guess her head doesn't really get chopped off. It just goes in, you know, she just flops into another box. It kind of spoils it. But nonetheless, what he did was an architect. It's amazing what he did. Someone needs to know if he is truly dead now. Some people think he's alive. I think he probably passed away, and that's why they pulled it. The family's in videos saying we're not going to be left with this nightmare. And he's in emails saying, I'm thinking about pulling it. That's a soft language. I'm thinking about ripping off your house, pretty much telling you what I'm going to do. I'm going to rip off your house. That's a soft way to drop it. I think I'm going to. And it looks to me, with all the evidence, that he indeed pulled it. He got his right-hand man, Doug Preston, to hire a couple of goons from the Writers Guild. That's who found it. They both admit to being writers. They both are in his guild. You can't make this stuff up.
But they don't know each other.
Oh, they've never met. No, yeah, they never met. And then it gets even better. It gets even crazier that the breaking story came through Outside Magazine, which is, again, Forrest's best friend. I mean, it would be a conspiracy if we didn't have the facts and a guy behind the scenes like me going, I've put it all together, folks. I was first-hand witness, and at the time I was just humble and thinking, my God, I'm getting my ass kicked here by strangers that came out of the ether. This is impossible, but it's happening. And I just said, man, I don't know where these guys came from. I don't know how they're ahead of me. Well, now I know. Now I know. It all makes sense.
So one thing that recently photos have come out of kind of showing a little, not a general broad area of where this was found, but a little close up. And I remember Forrest saying that this is a place I would like to die. He was going to go there and die when he had cancer, And I'm looking at the photo of that area and I'm thinking, man, that's a place, man. The coyotes are going to come and get you. It's nothing spectacular. I was expecting some kind of an ancient burial tomb or something like that where he could rock himself up in. But the pictures that you show me were spectacular, gorgeous, and that is a place a person would want to go die, I would think.
Well, again, to their credit, and I say them because there is two of them, whether the world likes it or not. I probably, in their shoes, would create bunny trails to keep people completely from understanding. But people seem to be losing touch with the reality. The chest is getting wet. No one will ever stumble upon it. They'll have to earn it. These are things Forrest said. Those are all true. He wanted to die there. Do you want to die in a parched piece of desert-looking dirt by some dried-up log? I don't think so. I can tell you that these are all misdirection things. And again, I'm laughing a little bit because from their position, they're trying to hide the thing. Their big mistake is trying to hide me. I'm not your average guy. I will say that. I don't want to sound braggadocious, but they're in over their head messing with me. And I sent them an email saying something like that. I said, you had your opportunity, because there's numerous emails, to make me your friend and not your foe. And if I had it in front of me, I'd read it. It's more articulate than I'm being right now. But I warned them that me as your adversary is going to be your undoing. So they made a big mistake. A lot of times passed. I gave them many opportunities. And those opportunities are gone. So I'm going to do what I have to do. My interests are not in any kind of me, myself, I. It's really, if I showed the world what Forrest did, they're going to go, my God, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, some people are going to go, why didn't we figure this out? I mean, why didn't we see these things? The book itself, The Thrill of the Chase, the title, why hasn't anyone questioned the title? The Thrill of the Chase? You mean the thrill of the hunt? It's a treasure hunt. The thrill. There's things there that will people go, my God, and they'd realize this guy has them. I could go on all day long.
I know we've spent the last 8 hours you showing me,
8 hours,
convincing me, because I'm a big skeptic, and you spent 8 hours convincing me.
I provided you unequivocal evidence.
And you promised me here in the future when the weather, because you can't just get there any time of the year.
No, you cannot.
That's right. You said you would take me there.
I will take you there.
And
I showed you some pictures. These two guys, obviously, I don't know if they were, one stayed back at camp, but the potential, these two guys, And one person that's close to me, and of course me, and now you, are the only people in the world, unless the family member we don't know about somehow magically knows something, which is possible. But out of the whole world, we're the only people that I've ever seen where Forrest wanted to die, why the chest is getting wet, why it's at risk of forest fire, why it's a lush forest under a canopy of stars. You now know. You're in the know. That's an elite group.
So there's going to be a lot of people out there, because I have had a lot of other people contact me saying, I know where it was at. I had the solve. I got the, there's a lot of people out there, and so there's a lot of people going to see this video and they're going to say, baloney. I'm the one that knows where the real deal is, More stuff's going to come out here in the future, and we'll leave it at that for now, and go from there. You got any more to say?
Well, I was going to say that the delusional aspects of all this and the belief systems of people that have bought into their own crazy imaginations has made this lunatic fringe. I told you that. I'm not claiming anything. I'm telling you that I unequivocally solved it through research, boots on the ground. I lived it, breathed it, found the proper location that the poem is in, and eventually solved it. And once people understand, they go, oh my God, I mean, more people have been there before I got in the game. Forrest said people have been within 200 and 500 feet. So I'm not the first to ever go to this place. I'm the first to stay there and realize, oh, this is it, all right, and pound on it until I got it right.
So you're not talking you was there for a weekend here and there. You wasn't there for a week here and there. You spent how much time there?
I lived there from the first opportunity that you could get into that land all the way until the land kicked you out. And
kicked you out because of the weather, because of the...
Oh yeah. Forrest said that chest is between 5,000 and 10,200 feet. And that is correct. And so your elevation is a factor here, for sure. I will say that. And I will say that where he wanted to die was, heck, I might go there and die. And people can come try to find me. So it's pretty amazing. And once the world sees it, it'll answer all the questions. Unfortunately, there is so much convoluted, crazy, lying baloney that I was convinced, it wasn't overnight, by a lot of people around me saying, you got to come forward. And we had to find someone with the brain that would say, it's free to look, and that's you.
I don't have the brain yet. I'm interested in a great mystery. When I started seeing all the mystery that's going on with this, the stories changing, that created, and that makes me want to know, man, what is the truth? I just want to know the truth, just like everybody else out there.
Yeah, and I know the truth, and it makes me sick, and I feel it took some convincing. I was just going to fly off the eye. This is all too crazy for me. But with these guys intentionally trying to cover me up, that ticked me off. It's just, they're like children now to me. And knowing that they didn't earn anything, and they were probably paid handsomely to go get it.
So you paid handsomely to get it because it's not in their position right now.
Well, everyone seems to say that the thing's still at Forrest Fenn's attorney's office.
And why would that be?
Well, why would the guy get it and run right to Forrest with it? That's not my intent. I was going to go home and show my kids. I don't even know if I ever planned to meet Forrest Fenn. Why is the guy with the book deal who's never met him the only guy I've ever seen actually sitting right with the chest and has a picture? When you understand the truth that I've dispelled here, you'll realize that these guys were sent to get it. And I don't think that's a crime. It's his chest, it's his story. I think the crime is they should have just said, hey, look, we retrieved the chest. Forrest was too old, he found some goons. He even made them work for it. He said, I'm going to tell you the area. That's why they had the confidence to stay there until they got it. Because there's no way anyone would stay there for 25 days. After 5 days, 10 days, you'd say, I've had a hell enough. They ain't here. We're out of here. But they knew it was there because they were told by the horse's mouth, it's there. Just find it.
And you spent more than a week there, 10 days there. You spent months there for a year or two, and it's because you had unequivocal positive proof that you'd cracked the code to the poem through the books, through the poem, through other things that happened. All
the information provided by Forrest Fenn, even statements made in bookstores where people laugh. He says I can go right straight to it, and I know the chest is getting wet and stuff. This place is pounded on by everything. You take the jacket off Thrill the Chase, he's pounding on the place. I don't want to give too much away. The place is literally like it should have been a Disneyland parking lot. I mean, I cannot believe more people weren't. It's too dogmatic. Everything statements he said are only indigenous to this one specific spot. And it's not a coincidence that when you go there, you see how you can get the first couple of clues right pretty easily. And like he said, drive right by the third one, which I'm guilty of myself. But you know you're inside the poem. That's too easy. It's just deciphering and precisely running it like he said you would have to do. That took some effort. And it took some brain power. And I don't see either of these individuals possessing either of those characteristics.
So I just want to say that I can't wait to see what the comments are going to be. These are going to be crazy, these comments. There's more going to come.
Hey, to all you commenters, I mean, you come look at the evidence. I mean, the people that just want to naysay because they don't want to believe, you can't overcome that. I am who I am. I've done what I've done, and I know what I know. And so people don't. I'll end with this. What coaxed me out into the open here was these guys hiding me, for one. But a lot of good people keeping pulse of this and providing information to me that the world wants to know. And I'm the only guy that can say anything. Forrest is dead, and these guys aren't going to talk. And it's a powerful position to be in. And it's one where why do we need to keep it secret at this point? It's over with. I've had reservations. I don't want to see the place turn into a
parking lot.
Yeah, a place where they have to, build new roads or whatever, charge admission. But at this stage, that's even kind of irrelevant because I can't base my whole life on that. I'm worrying about how this is all going to turn out. I just think that the information I've been provided coaxed me out in the open. There is a ton of evidence on the internet that proves that something's afoot. People, I've seen videos where people are prognosticating, predicting, assuming, guessing that I exist. And some have said some things that I'm like, heck, they're talking about me. They don't know who me is, but my God, they're really... So I give them a lot of credit because they don't even know what I know. But they do believe that a guy like me exists. Well, I am that guy. And it's eerie. It's eerie, but it's also like, well, at this point, I'll at least give it my best shot. All I have is truth and facts. That's all I have. I'm only going to be able to tell you what it all meant. I don't have an opinion. I don't have a solve, by the way. I have the solve. So that's the difference. People have great imaginations.
So why do you think this guy, which you say is two guys, because you personally met him, so you know.
Yeah.
You've seen them out there. Why do you think they're not willing to give the solve? Because that's what everybody wants to know, is what the solve is, so they can know, man, if their thinking was right, wrong, if they was close. You know, that's important to a lot of people.
Well, I think if they truly were hired to go retrieve the chest, that's part of the NDA. I mean, you know, Forrest said no one's ever going to find this place in 1,000 years. And had I stayed up there and not assumed they were just going to disappear and I'll go back later and that type of thing, I guess I would have won, or whatever you want to call it. So it just, you know, hey, listen, when you're in the high mountains and winter's starting to hunker down and a couple of yahoos you never seen before there, at the time, I was like, let's just get the heck out of here. They're not going to find it. But now, knowing and understanding they were sent to get it, they did find it. They did retrieve it, and they brought it back to them. It's there in the attorney's office. There's pictures of them with that. That should just tell everyone right there. I wasn't planning to bring the treasure to Forrest Fenn. I'm going to go home. What do I owe him? He even said, take it and go in peace. Read the poem. So,
well, I seen him on a video saying just that thing, man. Just take it and go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, it is. I'm pretty dogmatic at this stage that he called it. There's evidence for it. I mean, it's provided to the ether, and I know these two guys are joined at the hip. And to this date, they act like they don't know each other, and they're you know. Yet they both worked as a team as part of this story. That should just be something obvious. It just takes a little bit of detective work here and some prying eyes to go, this doesn't add up. And those type of channels and videos have been provided to me, and they stirred me, because it was like, wow, people are really smart out there. They really know I exist. I know I'm me. They know there's a guy out there that got robbed. I've seen a guy, the real guy's gotten gypped and it's unfair to him and he probably saw. I'm like, how's this guy know that? Well, he's making assumptions, but he's right. And so that's like, you know, I'm like, that's all true. So I just thought, you know, it's time. With these guys dissing on me, I thought it's time. That gave me a little bit of fire to go, you know what, I'm tired of this nonsense. And under the right circumstances, it needs to be done properly. I think eloquently is the word. You know, I'm not looking for some big special deal. I just think it needs to, this information, it needs to be disseminated like all information anymore. It's not done through a typewriter. It's done through some kind of platform where people can tune in and watch it unfold. And I'll show you what it took. I was there for 3 complete seasons. Okay? And I did have to go home and take care of things at time, but I'd be gone. I mean, it's a couple-day drive each way, so maybe 10 days would pass and I'd be right back there. So you're looking at a good 3.5 months, 3 months guaranteed that I lived there until I eventually solved it. And I had it pinned down. I mean, I would have found it, by the way, because I went back there and it was correct. And I saw where the chest sat. Of course, I showed you the pictures in the video, so it's unequivocal. And the poem leads you there. It's not me leading you there. That's why I say this isn't a solve. This is what Forrest intended for someone to do, decipher it, figure it all out, run it precisely, and this is where it leads. And of course, this is where these guys were. So, and there's not a lot of choices there, by the way. It still doesn't make it easy to find. So there's that. I mean, it's just, I'm not in this for me, myself, and I said that once before. So let the comments come, whatever. I mean, this World Wide Web's full of crazy, so if you're going to get them, nothing we can do. I'm the real deal. I'm telling the truth. I don't know what else to do.
So just to recap, where these people are saying, or this person is saying, that it was found, that's come out in the court documents in 9, what's the name of the place?
Well, I've again, people have shown me things, but those photos are completely, I mean, that's a Looks like he took it in a mud puddle in his driveway. Those are all lies and not even close. Is that a lush forest under a canopy of stars? Is the chest getting wet? A dry piece of parched ground by a log? Bro, I could have taken that in my backyard. Of course, those are lies. They're deceptive to create a false narrative to cover up the area. And again, I admit that that's not the bad thing they're doing. Covering me up is what's wrong. I'm not.
They know you exist.
Oh, of course.
They must to them.
They must be terrified of me.
You talk to them.
They must be terrified because they realize this guy's here because he figured it out. We're here because we were told to park here.
One of them.
Yeah.
There was two of them.
There was two of them. Yeah. There's two of them. Yeah. By the way, I have a search partner, so there's a witness. I took liberty to document all this.
And they know who your search partner is.
Yeah. Yes. I time-stamped emails months before I don't even know how long, but maybe I don't know how many months before they were solved. I said the solver, when he comes out of the woodwork, will be from Pennsylvania, and and I said, or at least his license plate will, because that's what was on. So I mean, I told the truth. At the time, I was like, hey, I want someone to know, like, I put so much work and money into this thing. At the time, there was little ego. So looking back, yeah, I guess I was hungry to go, I don't want to be lost in the shuffle here. I'm the guy. That's dissipated somewhat. But it's what Forrest did that I realized I need to share with the world, and how the poem is indeed a map and where it runs, and at least show pictures. Even if we don't disclose exactly how you get there, people will be able to see, oh my God, that's where the chest was put. That's where he wanted to die. That's where his bones would have laid. That's why the chest is getting wet. That's why it's lush. And when they see it, and they realize that, the map ran here, regardless if they liked it or not, then they realize all I did was solve it all. Okay? It took a lot, by the way. So I don't want to undermine my credibility and what I've accomplished. And
but what Forrest's credibility of what he accomplished generating this poem.
He said 15 years. I felt like an architect.
It took him 15 years to develop this, and it was spot on. You had to figure out the code and the clues.
Listen, it's very fascinating. It's extremely fascinating. The world would go, oh my God, that's what he did. It's right there in plain sight, but it takes some effort. I mean, I got most of it fairly quickly, but there were some nuances that if you do not get correct, you go right by it. It's really tricky. And he tells you, he plays with words. He gives you hints to how to unravel this thing. He says, I call butterflies flutterbys. That's an interesting kind of clue. I said, the title of the book, no one's ever questioned it. It's one of the first things I did. Rip off the jacket. Question. There was, just before I even opened The Thrill of the Chase, I finally bought it, thinking, well, I guess I need this book. It was unbelievable. It opened up Pandora's box. I was already in there, believe it or not. I bought the book after I found the area, but it really just I never let go, because I realized I'm here for sure now. Everything that you see there is described in the books. All three, by the way. All three. I just say, if people understood it, they'd be going, wow. Forrest is not only not a charlatan like some want to say, but what he did was clever and kind of genius. For a guy that got D's and F's, pretty damn genius. Looking back, it's pretty damn genius. It's subtle, but it's genius. It really is. It's absolutely amazing. I think people want to know. I have no platform to disseminate this information. I'm here as a starting point, I guess. And we'll see what happens.
And with that said, we're going to be taking a field trip, man, when it permits, when the conditions permit, and that's a wrap, and we'll be hearing more.
All right.